So the orange monkey just got elected and already the vibes are off. I'm hearing things about people voting for Trump because they didn't understand what his tariff program was. They didn't understand that the companies would pass along all of the cost of the tariffs to the consumer. And this is always portrayed as if it's this comically absurd thing, but honestly, it's the most predictable thing ever. Are you honestly surprised to hear conservatives supporting capitalism because they don't understand how it works and how companies actually work? Every time I go and point out that capitalism is basically a treadmill that most people are chained to, or that landlords are a useless speed bump that don't need to exist in society, or any of that good stuff, I get some generic Cletus NPC coming to explain to me how I just don't know how economics work, and how I must live in my mom's basement, and how I must have no marketable skills. It's always someone who makes less money than me, by the way. And these guys, I normally, after about 3 times of hearing the same 3 copy-paste straw man arguments from the same 3 copy-paste people, I just got tired of reacting in good faith, so now I normally just tell them I'm gonna fuck their wives. Not that I actually would. Normally their wives share the same defective DNA as these guys, and I don't want to get any of that on me. But, dominance is the only thing these guys understand, so I have to assert my dominance over them. And that's the thing, a lot of times conservatives are so desperate to punch down, they're so hungry for it, that if there's nobody beneath them, they'll just make somebody up. And don't take that to mean that I'm some triggered SJW who's a sore loser over this election, okay? If anything, I think the one silver lining to this election and Trump winning is that now feminists will have 4 years to live under a real patriarchy instead of just the fake one that they've been screaming about for the past decade. So maybe after this they won't cry wolf anymore. I don't know, maybe I'm giving him too much credit. But apparently someone asked one of Trump's transition team, hey, when you say you're gonna put heavy tariffs on everything from foreign countries, you obviously don't mean food, right? Because that would be fucking retarded. Not everything grows in America. And he responded with, let them eat cake. Oh no, wait, he responded with something even more out of touch. He said, maybe they just shouldn't eat those foods. This is what we're dealing with, people. This is the level of just don't know, don't care kind of leadership that we're dealing with. And by the way, this isn't going to be like last time where there were adults in the room to stop him from being crazy. He has chipped away at all of the checks and balances. He has replaced nearly everyone that matters with one of his butt boys. And with a Republican-led Senate and a Republican majority in the Supreme Court, there's gonna be no one to tell him when he's being an idiot. As a matter of fact, he keeps appointing worse and worse people to his cabinet, and people are thinking that it's his way of testing the Senate to see how much they'll let him get away with. For red pillars out there, are you familiar with the concept of shit testing? The red pill concept that women will try to get you to play along with more and more ridiculous shit just to see if you actually have enough of a spine to enforce any boundaries. Yeah, Trump is shit testing America right now. Not sure if they're gonna go for it or not. I think he's doing a little bit of pushback, but I don't know. He's getting a little pushback. Even the military, apparently he's trying to push qualified high-ranking generals out and replace them with more people whose only credential is that they are willing to suck his dick, which is honestly really scary because there's only 2 ways that turns out. Either we're completely checkmated into fascism, that's the end of democracy, he now has nothing but loyalists in every position that matters, or, and this is more likely because he's a fucking moron, he fails so spectacularly that he renders our military toothless And between that and him being butt buddies with Vladimir Putin, we become subservient to Russia because we can no longer defend ourselves. Now a lot of people are going to be like, oh, are you another one of those fear-mongering liberals who are all like, oh, Trump is Hitler, Trump is Hitler. First of all, you can tell I'm not like a typical liberal by my use of the words gay and retarded, okay? And secondly, no, I don't think Trump is Hitler. Trump is obviously George W. Bush, okay? So here's the thing. The way he's surrounding himself with all of just your typical, just washed up, old, tired, hypocritical, fundy neocons, it's gonna set us right back to like 2003, 2004. Even the Heritage Foundation backing him, that is, it's run by fundies. We're not so much gonna be like a super racist, like National Socialist state. If anything, we're at risk of becoming a Christian nationalist country, which is also bad, but at least we have the blueprint for this. At least we've been through it before. All we really need to put us all the way back, to set ourselves back 20 years and revisit the early 2000s, is a foreign enemy to really help us all unite, you know? Nothing gets the people together to put aside their critical thinking and really embrace authoritarianism like common enemy. So I'm just putting this out there. I want to put this in your minds now. If shortly after Trump takes office, we are attacked by a foreign country and that's used as a justification for a war, just know that it was a false flag. It was a hoax. It did not actually happen. And I'm just saying that. I'm not saying they're definitely going to do something like that. I'm just saying the chances of a fake attack on U.S. soil are a lot higher than the chances of a real one, especially within Trump's first year in office. If that happens, you just have to assume it's fake, because he absolutely is the type of person who would do that. Now, is Trump himself a fundy evangelical, just cringe neocon? Not really. But you have to keep in mind, Trump's principles are just whatever gets him money and power. So if his friends tell him to be one of those, he's going to be one of those. That's just how he works. Really, it seems like what he wants is revenge on America. And that's what makes him dangerous. You see, I wasn't scared of him being president the first time around. I'm like, whatever. He's an idiot. It was a shit show, but it was a shit show that most of us could sit back and laugh at from afar because he hadn't systematically removed so many of the fail-safes and so many of the checks and balances, But now, man, he is mad, dude. And, if you can't tell he's mad, you don't know how people with a big ego work. I got a big ego, too. So, I know that someone who lost as convincingly as he did in 2020, and who spent the next 4 years being humiliated over and over again, man, that guy will burn our entire country down just out of spite. He wants to punish us for his criminal indictments, his loss in the election, all of that shit, man. He wants us to suffer for that, and that's why he's doing this wild-ass shit. That's why he's surrounding himself with these yes men that he knows he can control. By the way, I talked about fundy neocon dickbags. The worst of them of all is fucking Mike Huckabee. Okay, this guy, he's our ambassador to Israel, and he thinks that Palestine does not exist as a state. He believes that is all Israel's territory to do with as they please. He believes that they can't invade it because it's their land. All they're doing is enforcing their own sovereignty that they're entitled to under God or whatever. Clearly this guy likes his dick circumcised because he doesn't like the taste of dick cheese. I guess you do you, but Jesus fuck. I knew we were never gonna leave the Middle East alone. I knew we were gonna keep molesting the Israel-Palestine situation, but for fuck's sake, did we have to go for a fucking true believer like this? And there are some people who actually think this election was rigged and that Trump had Elon Musk steal it for him. There are people saying that because some of the polling places used Starlink in some capacity, that Elon Musk could have intercepted and done away with votes for Kamala Harris. Now, this was just, I have to admit, I can't put a lot of faith in this one, because this was just like some stuff I saw on Twitter and I think like Facebook or Instagram. But on the flip side of that, the person I saw trying to debunk it when I Googled it was a fucking Rothschild. So, I mean, I guess flip a coin to see who you want to believe there. So a lot of women actually are trying to do the 4B movement now, which is a movement of South Korean origin where they basically shun all men. This is their form of protest. They're gonna shun all the men. And I gotta say, women who hate men were actually one of the greatest recruiting tools for Trump back in 2016. And they were a pretty good recruiting tool for him in 2024. Like, if this is what you're gonna do, then you are missing what you did wrong before the election, because how much talk did we hear about kill all men, I choose the bear, women on social media, and I know women on Twitter are not representative of the overall population, okay? They go viral by being loud and stupid, I get that, but they'll brag about like finessing men and, you know, making our lives difficult, and all their little sisters will cheer them on. And the thing is, like, this pushed people toward Trump in 2016, and I'm pretty sure it pushed the younger demographic toward him now. Thing is, like, women have, like, they've used this patriarchy mythology to basically always have this cop-out where men's problems are men's fault. Women's problems are also men's fault. And there's almost this unspoken rule, at least in like brain-dead TikTok discourse, where if you want to criticize anything that women tend to do, you have to make sure you can connect the dots somehow to make it men's fault, or otherwise you're sexist. It just creates this sort of easy way out where people can blame any of their character flaws on society. They used, tangentially related to the patriarchy mythology, there's the rape culture mythology, which has allowed them to demonize any kind of pickup strategy that men use as manipulative and predatory. I'm still gonna hunt down whoever taught them what nagging was. Anyway, the thing is with men, like, if you fuck with men, like, over and over again, we can hurt you. And I think that's what the younger generation of Trump voters was showing them by electing Trump. And was it worth burning down the whole country just to punish a handful of man-hating LARPers who go online to post kill all men when in real life they're afraid to leave the house on their own? No. I mean, kind of fucking retarded. But the thing you gotta understand about your average Gen Z Republican boy is he has about an 8th grade reading level and his only personality trait is going to the gym. Of course they would fucking do it. So, like, I guess what I'm really saying to, you know, the man-haters out there who have been just trying to pick apart everything men say and do for probably since the BuzzFeed era in 2014 is, yeah, I am going to push back against a lot of this shit that Trump is trying to do. You know, I don't think he should be able to take away your bodily autonomy. I don't think he should be able to create policies that are deliberately designed to make life harder for LGBT people. I don't think he should impose tariffs that will 100% break our economy. But the thing is, when I'm pushing back against these things, don't ever think I'm doing it. If you're one of these women who chose the bear and, you know, goes around posting kill all men and all that, don't ever think I'm pushing back because I care about you. By the way, conservatives, free speech is good, right? Like, you hate when the liberals try to censor your free speech, and you don't like them creating these echo chambers where you're not allowed to speak your mind. You better keep that same energy when we go back to the more Bush era type of censorship, because that's coming. When the conservatives start trying to censor things in the name of decency, you better be ideologically consistent, and you better come down on them just as hard as you came down on the liberals who tried to censor things in the name of tolerance. They are both bad, and now is your chance to prove that you're not just a giant pussy. If you let the conservative censorship that is almost definitely going to happen, if you let that go unchallenged when you came down on liberals so fucking hard for the past 10 years for their censorship, you're either a racist or you're a giant pussy. It's one of the two. And a lot of this decency crap, I know we're gonna go super hard against any kind of profanity or anything sexual or dirty. It's all just gonna be an excuse to be homophobic and transphobic. That's what it's gonna be this time around. It was kind of a homophobia thing the first time we did it with Bush. It wasn't like explicit though. This time you're not even gonna have to be that smart, and you're not gonna have to make that many assumptions to know that's what's going on. And if you say, oh, well, I'm homophobic and transphobic, why should I be against it? Because censorship is for little bitches, dude. Because it is going to affect your free speech too, even if these new things they try to do are targeted toward gay and trans people. It's still gonna make it so you can't do your usual dirty old man shit. I'm imagining you as like this blue collar boomer, okay? It's gonna make it so you can't talk about the girls who pass by your construction site anymore, okay? Think of it that way. Okay, guys, so I'm just gonna rush through the rest of this. I've been recording this in several sessions over the course of like a few days. I didn't even write like a whole script for this. I just wrote like bullet points, and then when I'm like driving home in the car, I'll be like, oh yeah, here's what I'm gonna say about that, and then I'll just like say it. But the thing is, like, Trump's plans are falling apart so fast that this video is gonna become obsolete before I even fucking release it. Like, I was gonna do a part about Matt Gaetz being a pervert, but now he's out of the picture, so, like, why bother? Let's just see what we can rush through. The mass deportations, they're not just for illegals. Trump has said that he is going to pursue denaturalization for people who got their citizenship who he doesn't think should have it. Now, denaturalization, like, that's not a thing. You're a fucking retard. Like, one thing I always get mad at the left for is just making up new words to try and, like, push and normalize a certain agenda that, you know, if you explained it using current common language, it would get an immediate fuck you response. But now the right's doing that. Denaturalization. What a dystopian fucking term that is. That's like something that Kafka would write in one of his books. But yeah, yoink your citizenship, boot you across the border. Too bad, Paco. Fucking, that's what Trump wants to do. Let's see, what else? Elon Musk, I mean, what can I say about him that hasn't already been said a million times? Back when he was a free speech absolutist, he was cool, but that mask fell off pretty quick. He's now Trump's butt boy. He's the officer, or fucking whatever you want to call it, of the Department of Government Efficiency. DOG. We have an office called DOG now, populated by like a handful of completely useless Trump dick riders. Fucking Elon himself actually seems to have sort of ANCAP tendencies. Like, I've heard he wants corporations to basically run America, which, like, is basically what's going on anyway, but that's why everything's so fucked. If we give him the opportunity to do that out in the open instead of at least having to hide it a little bit, like, it's gonna ruin our country. Let's see here. Oh yeah, libertarians. If you're like one of the libertarian conservatives, you should not support Trump. He has done gun grabbing shit in the past. He's gonna be pro censorship due to his neocon cabinet. It's just gonna be bad. He's probably gonna get talked into a bunch of bullshit wars too. Donald Trump, I know you guys, you all love capitalism so much. You want free market capitalism, but what is going on here with Trump and with his little clique is pretty much the definition of crony capitalism. You know, that corrupted form of capitalism that you guys are aware is bad. It's corporate fascism. These people want the entire economy, or they want the government and the economy to kind of be this auto-fellatio thing where it's all one system sucking its own dick. It's not good for you guys either. And honestly, you guys are right about one thing though. Like, people do need to arm themselves. Like, especially if you're an immigrant who came here legally, you have your citizenship, or if you're LGBT, or hell, even if you're just a woman, depending on what state you're in, you need to prepare for the eventuality that you won't be able to rely on law enforcement to protect you anymore, because the law may be what you need to protect yourself from. So become a hard target and realize at some point you may need to physically resist arrest. Anyway, let's see. Do I have any more talking points to go over? I'm rushing this before any more of Trump's plan unravels. Let's see. Not really. I guess that's it. Feel free to get mad and mash your face against the keyboard and type something funny out in the comments. It's always amusing to watch the little dogs chase their tail when I give a hot take. When you're in a situation where you know that you're right and like the majority of society is wrong about something, it's very easy for the less free-thinking people to mistake that for arrogance or lack of self-awareness or trying to be edgy for attention. So go on, give me a few lines of NPC dialogue about that, and if you made it all the way to the end, say skibbity riz in your comment. Bye. Piss explosion! Piss explosion!